Have you seen this event show up in your events menu and asked yourselves, what the heck is this? Well, let's talk about what is Ark of Osiris. Ark of Osiris is a game mode inside Rise of Kingdoms that is completely different from anything else. It is played on a different map, it has different rules, and it does not affect anything outside of Ark of Osiris, which means after you finish your match, everything goes back to how it was before. The way this works is you have a registration phase in which the top 20 alliances of a kingdom can register to participate in Ark of Osiris. You can select 30 members out of their alliance to participate as the starting lineup and 10 of them as backups. These backups will be able to come into the field in case any of the starting lineups cannot show up for some reason. Once you've done registering, you pick the time you want to play. From there, you got to wait it out until the battlefield opens. And when it does, your city gets shielded and you get teleported out to the Ark of Osiris field. Keep in mind, there are rules you got to know about when it comes to registration, as well as criteria you got to meet before teleporting into the Ark of Osiris battlefield, such as, for example, empty your hospitals and don't have War Frenzy on. Let's look at the map of Ark of Osiris and see how it's laid out. What you're seeing right here is a mirrored map. That yellow line right there shows you where the map is divided. It's divided into Iset and Seth, blue and red, two sides of the map that are completely identical but mirrored. This means that each team has the same type of buildings and the same type of configuration and can potentially get the same type of points and buffs. When you start off the match, you start in this area right here, the starting zone. There are 3 minutes for you to set up, get everybody to port in. And once those 3 minutes open up and the gates open up and you can start marching out into the field. At that time, by the way, is when your backups can teleport in and get into the match. Up until that point, they cannot get in. In the first couple of minutes of the match, you can only occupy these buildings on this area right here. These are the outposts and obelisks, each building having its own different points per minute, as well as different things they do. For example, obelisks allow you to teleport out of the starting zone into the obelisk area. The way you do that is by simply tapping on the obelisk, tapping on teleport, placing your city where you want it to be, and tapping teleport again. In the 52nd minute, 5 minutes after you are able to march out, all the other buildings will be unlocked for occupation, and from there you can start going crazy. Again, the altars and shrines are the buildings opening up, each of them having their own points per minute values. And essentially what you're doing is you're holding on to buildings to accumulate more points per minute. In the HUD up on the top in the center, what you'll see is all the information you need to know about the match. How many points each team has, what's the points per minute status of each team as of right now, and how much time remains in the match. Ideally, if the map is mirrored, and it is, each half of the map is worth the same amount of points, 590 points. And the name of the game is for you to get more points per minute than your opposition by taking over some of their buildings through rallies and solo marches and whatever it takes to essentially beat the defense out of that building. If you manage to beat the defense and occupy the building, from there you're gonna have to hold on to it for 3 long minutes before it starts giving you points per minute. However, the moment you took it away from the opposition, they stopped gaining points. And even if they take it automatically back from you instantly, they'll still have to wait 3 long minutes to get those points per minute back, which is how you can gain a lead. You don't necessarily have to hold on to your enemy's buildings, you just gotta make sure they don't hold on to them. There are 2 other ways to get points in this game mode: by caravan gathering, which are these caravan gathering nodes all over the place. And you have the Temple of Osiris in the center, which spawns the Ark of Osiris that is worth massive amounts of points. On the top left of your screen, you're gonna see right there the Ark of Osiris symbol, and there you'll have a timer until how long it'll take until the Ark spawns. Usually you'll see between 4 to 5 arcs being spawned depending on how quick people take those arcs into their favor. The way you score those points is by carrying the arc to any of the buildings that you are occupying, but be wary of the fact that there are debuffs to to carry that Ark, and being an Ark carrier is a very tough thing to do. As part of the evolution of Ark of Osiris, Commander equipment and alliance skills are now available within the Ark of Osiris game mode, as well as a brand new unique mechanism for Ark of Osiris, the Ark of Osiris skills. Let's talk about how that works. Before the match begins, during the registration phase, leaders and titled officers get to pick 6 skills from the vast pool of skills that is available for their upcoming match. This is also where you'll find the cooldown for each skill, and of course don't forget to click save. There are 2 conditions that need to be met in order for you to trigger a skill. Have enough energy bars, and the skill shouldn't be on cooldown. If both conditions are met, skills can be triggered to give your team a temporary buff, to debuff your enemy, to grant your team teleports, heals, and much more. Each skill has its own energy bars cost, and energy bars can be obtained as the match goes on. There are certain in-game conditions which will help you gain more energy bars, like suffering severe troop losses, but there is no exact formula as to how many energy bars you'll get per match, as the results on the open field can affect the energy bar generation. Each skill also has its own cooldown on top of energy bars cost, which can be seen as a ticking timer after a set skill is used. The skill list can be seen on the screen, and this is the first iteration of skills available. As a matter of fact, Rise of Kingdoms have already introduced new skills into the list, and by the time you're watching this video, the likelihood of there being more skills in game, current skills not being in existence anymore, or may have changed a little bit as this balance of the system still goes on, is a possibility, so don't take this list as the 100% accurate list of skills available. Whether you use Relentless Siege to lower down the structure occupation time by 30 seconds, or Divine Aid to gain 5 teleports, each skill is unique, independent, and can play a crucial role in your Ark of Osiris strategy. When skills are triggered during a match, there's a clear notification on the screen, as well as markers on the map in case the skill is used with an area-based skill. Timing plays based on skill triggers is viable and should be considered when considering your new upcoming strategies for Ark of Osiris. I hope you found this brief explanation of what Ark of Osiris is useful. I encourage every single one of you to let us know in the comments down below if you have any comments, questions, suggestions, or anything that has to do with Ark of Osiris. And before you leave, drop a like on the video and subscribe to the Rise of Kingdoms channel for more content.